Hi there, I'm Brennyn Molloy and the co-owner of the House of Compassionate Gratitude, and I'm here today to do something kind of fun, and we're going to discuss 10 woo-woo words. That's 10 of them, and if you like it, I'll come back and do 10 more because there's lots of them out there. So we're going to start with some basics today. The 10 I've picked are New Age, woo-woo, universe, soul, spirit, reincarnate, karma, awareness, and energy. And I think these are all words that if you are even remotely in the spiritual community or pretty much anywhere in society, you will have heard these words and maybe wonder what they mean. And my intention in going over them is to poke a little fun, because some of them are a little fun, but also because in understanding how we use words, we get a better understanding of the intention of the person we're talking to. So I'm going to start with New Age, and this one you won't really hear me use very often, and if I do use it, I'm a little sarcastic maybe, because I think there's better ways to describe someone else's belief system. So New Age or New Age movement kind of sit with me wrong, because it encompasses way too much stuff, and it's way too broad of a brush. So it started sometime in the 70s, I guess, talking about the New Age movement and spiritualism, holistic things, tarot cards, divination. Yoga is in some of lists of New Age activities, and it's just a way of grouping together some of this stuff that at the time people weren't really aware of a better way to call it, I guess, but it can actually come across as really dismissive and disrespectful, because many of these activities and belief systems, like spiritualism, paganism, yoga, they're really old. They're age old, not new age. And because of the resurgence of them and the rise in popularity in some parts of our world, they started getting called new age, when really they're very, very old practices of healing, of living, of being, belief systems. Many of them have roots in faith-based systems of a way to connect yourself with your creator and a guidance for your life and a way to live a good life. So New Age sits with me wrong. I think it can be a little dismissive. And again, if you hear me saying it, I'm probably being a little sarcastic. A word that I find fun instead of New Age is woo-woo. And I just mean it to be funny, because I know that some of my personal practices strike some of my family and some of my friends in a funny kind of way. So I'll say, yeah, it's a little woo-woo. I do mediumship. I work with plants and talk to them and talk to spirit and believe in past lives and reincarnation. And these things some people find to be a little unusual, or maybe they aren't really aware of them and they're not comfortable for them. So a fun thing that I think it's funny anyway, as I call them woo-woo. And it's basically all that stuff that we would lump into New Age, but with a slightly more playful tone. And for me, it's a practice. It's a way of being, the spiritual nature to things, and trusting my own intuition and guidance, with connection to my creator, and the ways that I bring that into my life. So anyways, moving on, we're going to go to the word universe. And universe, of course, is that thing outside of our hemisphere, what have you, with our atmosphere that have stars and planets and what have you in it. There's that. But it's also a word that we would use to replace the word God. And I don't draw a distinction between which is bigger, which came first, or any of that. I use them pretty interchangeably. I also say creator. And it's when you say the word universe, though, most people are using it in the sense of all of it, okay? All things spiritual, all things not physical are the universe. It's the collection of all of our souls together creating life around us as we know it. And that's really what the universal force is. It's what's guiding us. It's our collective consciousness. It's everything. So that's how we're using the word universe. And when you hear it, I think the easiest way to understand it is to supplement the word God or creator in there, and that will give you a better understanding about how we're using the word universe like this. Knowing that it's infinite also. So another word that if we understand God energy like that, we talk about our soul. So our soul is that bit of ourselves, that God energy that we are, our divine self, our spirit, our essence, our soul. It's who we are. That's really what it is. So my soul resides, so to speak, inside this body. In this incarnation is Brennyn Molloy. And for those of you who believe reincarnation, your soul is the piece that has been born before and will be born again, and that carries those lessons and memories and experiences through this ultimate path that most of us would agree is here for learning and lessons and understanding. And if you don't subscribe to reincarnation, your soul is the piece that would go on to your version of heaven or afterlife. That's what the soul is. The soul is what, when you work with a medium, comes and connects with the medium that you're working with. It's your soul, your essence. That's that. So the other piece of that is I use the word spirit, and that's one of our words. So spirit could be a soul that we have encountered in this human sense, like substituting it for the word soul. Spirit can also be creator or God energy, or anything, again, that's not in a physical form. It's the energy of the souls, the spirit. It's interchangeable. So the next word that we'd want to talk about then, and I skipped over a little using the word reincarnation, and that's your soul coming back time after time and having lessons and lives and experiences in the human form. Some versions of reincarnation also include coming back in animal and what have you type forms. So that's included there too. Some incarnations, there are those who believe it would not be in a human form, and it might be as someone's spirit guide or guardian angel, if you will. So there's that to encompass in that as well. The reason we incarnate as people, at least as humans, would be for this lessons, and we often call that karma, and karma gets a bit of a bad rap, and we sometimes say that karma is not nice and karma is going to get you, but karma is also a blessing. If we do good, good comes back to us. What goes around comes around, so do good, receive good. So karma is really the plan and the lessons that go along with these lifetimes. And I see that my background is getting all foggy here. I was trying to give you a lovely waterfall. Maybe I'm moving too much. So the next word, though, is awareness. And awareness is one of those words that can be intimidating because there can be the sense that this one's aware or enlightened and this one's not. And it's just not true. We all have potential. It's a practice. I don't subscribe to anyone being incarnate and completely enlightened. It's a practice. It's a process. There's levels to this. But overall, what it is being able to discern between thinking with the human self and what you have learned in a particular life, and your awareness, your consciousness, or your knowing. And that's your spiritual knowing. So my awareness, right now we're in the middle of March, or the end of March, and we're dealing with the COVID-19 virus. So my thinking and my research says this is an illness, and I've been confined to home because of local laws and stuff. But my awareness, my knowing from the spiritual sense of my soul is that I'm very, very safe in my home, that this is a fated event that humanity needed for some reason, and I don't really like it very much and some of the repercussions of part of it, but I'm really grateful for others. So that's kind of the difference between being unaware and being aware, or being enlightened and not, would be, where are you acting from? Are you aware that you don't just have thinking, you have awareness, or are you totally in thinking? But also knowing that you may have awareness, but there are times where you need thinking because you're human. And if you're human for a reason, and that is to have that. So the next level of that I want to talk about is your ego. And ego gets a bad rap in the spiritual community because it's me. It's all me. That's what we say ego is. Ego is the I am, this human, my body, my stuff, me. The thing is that if you're incarnate and you are in a human body, it is because you needed experiences as this human. So you need the ego enough to have this human experience, whatever level of ego that is. Now, somebody may have a really big ego and they're only thinking about themselves and they are not aware of the collection of other people around them, and they aren't able to act in a way that is conducive of all those people or supportive of all those people. And there may be somebody who has so little ego that they're not taking care of themselves. They're not taking care of their human. They're giving and giving and giving and not taking care of the human that their soul is residing in. So ego gets a bad rap when it's really, really extreme, but we need an ego to live a human life, to live it in a way that we're taking care of ourselves and living well. So those are my 10 words. We have New Age, woo-woo, universe, soul, spirit, energy, reincarnation, karma, awareness, and ego. And I hope you find this helpful. Please let me know if you have any questions. They were very brief definitions in some ways. So again, if you have other questions, let me know. And thanks so much.